Hello, everybody. Kind of an interesting question. This is the question that we get asked all the time. Can you outsmart the market? But that's not how people ask the question. How people tend to ask this question is they say, I want a deal. Whatever everybody else is doing, I want to do something better. Everybody's looking for that angle and that way to get ahead. And so the question we're going to answer this week is it possible even to outsmart the market? And is it something that you could do right now? Let's get started. My name is Stephen Meade with Domicile real estate for people who love houses. And this is our Southern California housing market update. And today we're answering the question, can you outsmart the market? And if you can't outsmart the market, who can you outsmart with good knowledge when making real estate decisions? So let's go ahead and dive into the stats. And it's no mistake why I have picked this topic to go with this time. Oh gosh, I see we're not being very happy here. Let me see if I can get our screen share. So bear with me a second. There's a particular reason why we're picking this topic this week. With a looming presidential election, which always seems to kind of throw some shade into the mix. And by the way, not only is there the common reaction to an upcoming presidential election, meaning people tend to sit on the fence, they don't want to make decisions. This is usually accompanied by an increase in home buying after the election, no matter who wins. But the other effect is that now it's even playing kind of some havoc with the bond market. After the debate performance last week, the bond market went through its own set of turmoil, kind of really shifting around rates and raising them over the last few days. Is this a permanent effect? I don't know. Are the rate cuts still coming towards the end of the year? I believe so. But that kind of illustrates why sometimes it can be so difficult to predict things. So let's go ahead and start with inventory, right? Our most basic thing is, what do we have out there? And if you're a buyer, this really is great news. Inventory under $1 million is up almost 50%. And inventory in that $1 to $2 million range is also up significantly, maybe more closer to 35% over last year. So the net result here is there's a lot more choice on the market. I think sometimes you probably heard us talk about it's not always the best choices on the market. These might not always be the listings people are looking for, but at least they're here and you're able to buy them. If we look at new listings hitting the market, this is kind of an interesting trend, right? We're a little bit higher in that under 1 million category, but look at the increase in listings versus last year in that $1 to $2 million category. We've really seen kind of that log jam start to break up, and we've really seen more new listings hitting the market, especially as we got through this spring versus last year at this point. Now, if we look at new escrows, that also is interesting. For under $1 million, we are up ever so slightly as we were last year at this point. But if we look at this $1 to $2 million category, we're actually up pretty significantly in terms of new escrow. So really the market has actually done a pretty good job in that $1 to $2 million range of absorbing those extra new listings coming on the market at least. We're still seeing that building up of inventory over time. That's why that total number of actives is going up. But I think it's really interesting because my theory is that the attractive listings that are coming out of the market now in that 1 to 2 million, those are the ones getting gobbled up. So if we look at our absorption rate, right, what that does is that tells us kind of a story of two markets. Both of these numbers are sitting kind of in that 60 to 70%-ish range, 65 to 75% range. But now what I find really interesting is we're seeing that rate of new escrows still really high in 1 to 2 million, but the absorption rate is low. And what does that tell us versus those new listings? It tells us that, there's some selectivity in the market about which listings are going under contract, right? We're going to definitely see in our market that we are seeing buyers are out there, but they are being picky about which homes are getting bought. We look at our closed prices. Remember, this is looking backwards in that rearview mirror. This data is old. By the way, I don't know if I've mentioned it. The MLS is working on some new data statistics. We hope to have these by the end of the year that will be measuring present market velocity. So not taking a look at the rearview mirror, talking about market velocity in the present. I'm very excited for those come out. Obviously, we'll be incorporating those into our reports. But if you look here, you'll see at the high end, we had a really big increase in prices that came early in the spring and then has leveled out. Similar story down below, but things actually look a little bit better at the median price point around $1 million and sort of around that 25th percentile entry point, especially if you're a seller, right? We're seeing that those are actually showing some gains still happening. If we look at our percent active, still in the market after 14 days, that one is interesting in that we are at about the same point we were at last year, 1 to 2 million, but we are a little bit weaker under $1 million. This is really, really good news if you are a first-time home buyer in that under $1 million market. There are definitely way more opportunities for you this year than there were last year. And we have our close to list ratio. And again, this one is also taking a look in the rearview mirror. And we see this one going up. And really, for the most part, psychologically, I think our buyers and sellers are conditioned to this point that my home should go a little bit over list price or there's something wrong, that's just right at the market. I think that's an unfortunate place to be in the market. I prefer when things are quote unquote right priced. However, we are still seeing that trend where we're seeing properties almost being intentionally, I think at this point, underpriced a little bit in order to get quick sales. I think that sellers have been conditioned. If my house takes 30 days to sell, there must be something wrong. I think buyers think there must be something wrong with the listing if it takes 30 days to sell. So we're definitely seeing people erring, I think, on that pricing side on the low end to be aggressive to ensure they get offers. And then if we look at our days on market for new contracts, that again is still really below this 30-day mark or right at 30 days for under $1 million. Definitely kind of an interesting situation, right? Are things better? 100%, absolutely. Is this any kind of buyer's market where you can do whatever you want? It is not, except for some listings which have been sitting. So if you're a value-conscious buyer, look for those listings that have been sitting. Now, looking at our affordability chart, we are just now peeking in underneath here for our payment index. And again, you'll see we've got this kind of almost 20% spread. Rents have accelerated a little bit over the spring, especially over where they were last year. We've seen those rents go up on these single-family homes. We are seeing the payments kind of leveling out for the most part, and inflation, as always, is very slowly creeping up to match it at some point. And then prevailing mortgage rates, you'll see that as of our measurement, they show down a little bit, but I'm telling you, the last couple of days have been brutal on the bond market. We'll see if that reverses course, but things are just really hovering in that 7% zone, ironically, right about where we were at last year. All right, everyone, that's all I've got for you this week. Definitely questions and comments. We love those, so write those in there. We love to hear from you. If you'd like to get together with us and use our expertise when buying or selling a home here in Southern California, definitely reach out to us. Our contact information is down below in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll see future videos. And we hope to see you again real soon.